the creepy red room in the movie Cube, it's the IGN Digigods. Please welcome two men who never even saw the movie Cube, Wade Major and Mark Kaiser.
Well, I wish I hadn't seen the movie Cube sometimes. Bob, who sent that one in for us?
Lord Beaumont S. Dragons. Come on, really?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, really, that's his name.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Lord have mercy.
It's too funny. Lord Beaumont S. Dragons. Actually,
that's not his name.
I know. He's written us before. I enjoy it. It's a good name.
It is a good name.
Whether it's real or not, it's a good name. So you were engaging before the show. I should let our listeners know that you and the microphone, or rather your goatee and the microphone, were having a very unnatural relationship.
Oh, this is a great way to start the show, Wade. It's so interesting. Is there nothing else to talk about?
Not really. Can is going on, and we're not there because we're here, because we're doing the podcast.
We are. That's right. We are so dedicated to bringing you. By the way, this week, lots of Blu-ray goodness. It's been a little fallow.
I know. It's well, a number of companies have gone kind of bananas on some catalog titles, and so we've got some good stuff this week. Some good TV stuff, a lot of kid stuff, which I'd love to get out of the way at the top.
Do it, Wade. Get out of the way.
All right, here we go. We're going to knock through this kid stuff right away. We got a Sesame Street thing here called Elmo's Travel Songs and Games. And friggin' Elmo scares me, man. He really scares me. But look, Driving with the Twiddlebugs. This is not for children. A Twiddlebug cannot be family friendly. That cannot be something that is good for anyone who is under 18. It just can't. But look, whatever. It's
keep going, Wade.
Yeah, never mind. Freaking Elmo, psychotic, strange puppet. And then we got a couple of Shalom Sesame deals, which are, of course, the...
I love those.
They're great. This is from Sisu, and this is the Hebrew version of Sesame Street, endorsed by Sesame Street. This is volumes 8 and 9, and it's always cool. I enjoy this. Even though I am not Jewish, I still enjoy this because I enjoy the cultural specificity of these. Volume 8 is Grover Learns Hebrew. Check it. You love that. Exactly. And Deborah Messing shows up on this. Good Jewish girl.
Oh, I used to love Deborah Messing.
Yeah.
When she first came on the scene, I thought she was the most beautiful thing in the world.
I still think the world of her. She's basically Lucy. She is. She's our new Lucy. And then Volume 9 is Countdown to Shavuot. I don't even know what Shavuot is. Mark, help me out here.
You're kidding. I'm the worst Jew in the world. I don't know what Shavuot is.
Well, anyway, this is Volume 9, and there's a whole cultural background to this. And look, hey, even if you're not Jewish, check it out. There's a whole bunch of these, and I've been trying to get some of the other global Sesame Street things because they're fun to look at. There's a lot of effort that goes into that. One thing I don't like Barney. Barney freaks me out. Alphabet Fun with Mother Goose is just freaking wrong. This is the Barney Mother Goose collection, and it's a DVD with a music CD and an activity book. And the DVD is fine, it's Barney, but it's this activity book, Barney's Alphabet Fun with Mother Goose, that absolutely freaks me out. It's just, I don't know, it's wrong. Take a look at that, Mark. Tell me what's wrong just with the drawing itself. The drawing itself. Something deeply disturbing about the drawing on that activity book.
There's a goose who is staring at a certain part of Barney's
That's
anatomy.
it. Thank you. Exactly.
It's a little belly buttonish more than it is crotchage.
I'm sorry, but it's just, I look at that, and to me, it's like the artist said, I know what, I'm going to slip this past him. It's wrong. It's very wrong. It's almost lewd. What else we got here on the kid front? All Aboard. This is, if your kid is a train fanatic, then this is from the I Love Toy Trains show, which I have never heard of, frankly, but apparently it's, this is from TM Books and Video. And I am not a huge train fanatic, but this is like a 14-part series, and this is one installment of it, All Aboard. And, kids and trains, go figure. Our friend Dave used to be a big train guy. And when we were kids, he'd like drag everybody to the toy train, the train hobby store over in Culver City, and force everyone to sit around there for hours while he like looked at little engines and tracks and switching mechanisms.
He and I, as recently as about 10 years ago, he dragged me to the train store on Sepulveda.
See, that's the one. That's the same one.
Is that the one?
Is he still going there?
Well, this is 10 years ago, but it's the one on Sepulveda in Palms or whatever
That's it.
It's called. Yeah.
My gosh, really?
Yes.
That's like 30. He's still into. Wow, that's amazing to me. Well, anyway, all right.
Nabbit.
There you go. I mean, there's some of this stuff is very impressive, but I don't know. I'm not a train hobbyist.
Yes, you are.
I just kind of look at this and I kind of admire it from afar. But hey, you know what? Get the whole series. Then we got Go Diego Go. Diego is from the Dora the Explorer series, and we got a Dora title in here as well that we're going to talk about. But Diego Saves the World is Diego all solo, doing his thing, rocking and rolling around the world, man. There's a bunch of episodes here, 6 little globe-trotting adventures with Bengal tiger and Egyptian camels and humpback whales. Man, Diego gets around. He shames Dora.
Wait, when you get through with this this children's stuff, which I couldn't care less about, I'm going to reward you.
What are you going to reward me with?
I'm going to reward you with the details on the Citizen Kane Blu-ray coming out.
We're going to announce the. Oh, that's cool. We're also going to announce the winners of our giveaway last week for the Spike Lee doc.
Okay.
Yeah, baby. And then Wild Kratts Creative Adventures. You ever
Wild Krauts like Germans?
No, this is from PBS Kids. Starring the Kratt brothers, K-R-A-T-T. You familiar with this?
Oh, I love them.
Martin and Chris.
Oh yeah.
This is also globe-trotting stuff.
Chris Kratz.
There you go. Anyway, this is it's a little bit like the Diego thing. They're just animal adventures all around the world. Platypus Cafe is one of the adventures, Mark. Platypus Cafe.
Wait, put that DVD
Mystery
down.
of the Squirmy Worm.
Go to the next one, please.
Mystery of the Squirmy Worm.
No one cares.
It's totally great. Did you see Saturday Night Live, by the way?
I saw a clip of the ambiguously gay duo.
That was unbelievable.
Is that what you were talking about?
That's what I was talking about. That was unbelievable.
It was funny.
Because
you really wanted to know how far they were going to go, because the cartoon obviously is double, triple, quadruple entendre time.
Yes, and they haven't done one of those cartoons in a long time, but when it went live action with all of the celebrities... And they spent some money on that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was unbelievable. It was
funny.
That was great. I mean, Jimmy Fallon, John Hamm, that was pretty great.
Colbert was in that,
Colbert was in that as well as one of the villains. That was pretty great. We hate the new Garfield show. The Garfield show, this is Private Adventures.
I hate every Garfield show. I hate Garfield.
Yeah, this is...
look, he's going to kick Odie off the table. Woo!
He eats lasagna.
He eats lasagna. What cat eats lasagna? None ever. Why is that funny?
This is 5 episodes from this show. It just doesn't really work. But anyway, there's nothing else on it. So if you love Garfield, you'll vibe like crazy.
I just realized that since I canceled my subscription to the LA Times, I've not read Get Fuzzy in months. Get Fuzzy is hilarious. The best comic representation of a cat ever.
Shaun the Sheep, of course, from the one.
In fact, I'm going to check getfuzzy.com while you read the rest of the stupid
Shaun the Sheep
stuff.
From the good people at Aardman. Look, it's not Wallace and Gromit, but it is really good animation. I mean, we love any of the stuff that Aardman does, and this is from Hit Entertainment through Lionsgate. The quality stop motion animation, I dig it. Shaun the Sheep, it gets a little old sometimes, but this is a disc called The Big Chase. And it's like motorcycles and ATVs and good animation, but still not Wallace and Gromit level.
That's great, Wade.
Then The Birthday Express is an installment of Thomas and Friends. This actually is kind of for the super young among you. So I'm not even. I've given up on the Thomas and Friends stuff. This has like a little. Well, here's the thing. Thomas and Friends is like if you're 3 years old, this is what you watch. So if you're 30 or 40, you're just going to shoot yourself. And the thing that makes this a little troubling is that it comes with a whistle. And if you have a 3-year-old and you give them a wooden whistle, you're insane. You're crazy. Do you know what kind of noise pollution you are inviting in the world?
Well, I don't know if you know this, but the previous edition of the Birthday Express, the Thomas and Friends, it came with a blowtorch.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then, of course, we have Dora the Explorer in Food with Friends, which, 6, and by the way, this is not all Dora the Explorer. They're just using Dora to brand this. There are 6 installments of shows from Nickelodeon. One of them is a Dora show. The other are Blue's Clues, Go Diego Go, Wonder Pets, Yo Gabba Gabba, and Ni Hao Kai Lan, who's kind of like the Asian Dora. It's a little grab bag of stuff from Nickelodeon. They just do these to give you cheap babysitting material. Season 1 of The Wild Thornberrys. This is finally. This has been wanted for a long time by a lot of people. This is a big following for this series. 20 episodes. Finally, the whole first season on DVD has not ever been released before. 4-disc set. Creepy animation. This eventually, they made that Wild Thornberrys movie, which did pretty well, that feature film.
That is true, and yet they've not made another one, so it didn't do that well.
I don't know what. Maybe it has something to do with the animators. Who knows? Anyway, Shout Factory released this one. They always get some good ones. So that's season 1. The rest is on its way, but it's still deeply disturbing animation. Just a few more of these titles before we get into the TV and feature stuff.
And what's on the Citizen Kane Blu-ray.
And the Citizen Kane Blu-ray. And the winners of our freaking giveaway.
Spike Lee thing.
Rainy Day Play. This is a disc for the Max and Ruby fans among you. Now, Max and Ruby, of course, are those white little bunnies on Nickelodeon.
Stupid bunnies.
And you just want to slice them open and cook them over a fire and barbecue them and eat them because we like rabbit.
What?
Maybe not. 4 episodes here. Ruby writes, 4 kind of sets of stories, because they break them down. Ruby's Rainbow and Max's Mud Pie and Ruby's Safari and Max's Mud Bath and Bunny Party and, this skews super young. And then we've got another collection of Dora Adventures. Now, these are all Dora Adventures. This is not a grab bag. This is, it's Haircut Day. And, of course, on the cover of the DVD, who's getting a haircut? Mark?
One of
the monkey.
One of the Jonas Brothers.
Thank you.
Oh, but he's a purple monkey.
Well, it's nothing is quite the right color on any of these cartoons.
I want to write a children's story. Wait, let's write a children's story.
If you and I wrote a children's story, we would be arrested.
No.
We would.
It's so easy. There once was a tree, and the tree said, "Every leaf is like my brother."
You're thinking too hard.
Huh?
You're thinking too hard. One of these episodes is entitled "Baby Winky Goes Home."
Okay, honestly, you couldn't think of something on the order of "Baby Winky Goes Home."
I probably could.
There once was a baby, and the baby said, "I love birthday cake." Well, when your birthday comes along, we should get you a birthday cake. But it's not my birthday now. No, it's your birthday in 6 more weeks. You can't have a birthday cake until it's 6 more weeks. But I want to have a birthday cake now. And the mom says, "Well, you can't have a birthday cake because it's not in 6 more weeks." And then the kid plots to have a birthday cake, and then at the very last panel, the mom buys a cake and it says "Happy birthday minus 6 weeks," and then everybody's happy. And then I made $1 million.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that there is really something just very sick about Barney, because this is another Barney disc, and this is one I want to focus a little bit on. It's entitled "I Can Do It." Never before seen on TV, they claim. This is Barney. I can do it. And what is the tagline at the bottom of the DVD say, Mark?
Go to hell, you jerk.
That's exactly right. No, read it.
Growing bigger means you can do it.
See, now come on.
That's a good one.
Come on. Is there a
growing bigger means you can do it?
Seriously.
Not growing bigger means you can't do it. And she will leave unhappy.
Seriously, could we please address the people over at Barney and just ask them what kind of sick stuff they're trying to slip past the children? It was one thing when Sid and Marty Krofft decided to do Lidsville, or H&R, Puff and stuff. You get it? Puff and stuff? I get it. They're all drug references being fed to children in the 1960s and 70s. Fine. Okay, it's the 60s and 70s, but seriously, growing bigger means you can do it. Look at the what? Come on.
I love it.
It's deranged. It's sick, perverse stuff.
But see, kids won't get it. But
Purple dinosaur.
Kids won't get it. The parents will laugh, and they'll feel safe buying it because they know the kids don't get it.
I guess. Anyway, and then this is an interesting thing here. This is an award-winning Spanish for kids series that I had never heard of before. It's from Whistle Fritz. It is Spanish for kids. Las Estaciones, the seasons. And this is for teaching little kids Spanish. I'm not sure I'm ever going to take another look at one of these, but you can go to Whistle Fritz, just like it sounds, Whistle, FRITZ.com, and look at some of the stuff that they do. Apparently, this stuff really works. If you want to get your kids kind of along the way and learning foreign languages while they're very small, this is a very good series and a very good way to do it. So the fact that it's in HD doesn't really make a hill of beans, but there it is. So a lot of stuff there to keep those horrible, vicious, evil, small humans occupied while you enjoy television and Blu-ray.
And Citizen Kane.
Tell us about Citizen Kane, Mark.
Now, it doesn't have a release date, Wade, but we do know what's on it. Now, do you know what's on this?
I know nothing about it.
Citizen Kane, Wade, Blu-ray. This is the ultimate, the ultimate edition. Now, what is ultimate about it, Wade? Okay, not just the interview with Robert Wise, who edited the film, not just the documentary, The Battle Over Citizen Kane, not just the commentary by Roger Ebert and another commentary by Peter Bogdanovich, not just opening night footage and press book ad campaign, not just deleted scenes, Wade.
What else?
Not just the 1938 Mercury Theater broadcast of War of the Worlds. Not just that.
Wow, there's more? Really?
Wade, you realize what this thing has. It has, now granted, it's just the DVD. It's not the Blu-ray of. It has the DVD of The Magnificent Ambersons. Comes in this Ultimate Collector's Edition. Now, The Magnificent Ambersons is another of Orson Welles' lost, failed, compromised masterpieces. It's a film that was never released in the way or in the cut that Welles intended. Nobody knows where that cut is. There's apocryphal stories about how somewhere in a trunk in Rio there's Orson Welles' cut of Magnificent Ambersons, and all we get to see is what was released theatrically. And it's included in this Blu-ray, Ultimate Collection Citizen Kane. This thing is a must-buy. It is a must-buy. If you don't buy this, you don't love movies. I mean, that's really all it is. Because first of all, you get two films. You get Citizen Kane, which is Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
And you get Magnificent Ambersons, which is literally, even in whatever compromised version we've all seen, I've seen it projected.
It's never been released before, so I mean, hey, that's unbelievable.
Isn't that bizarre?
That's just weird.
I guess that they figured that there's no, which is bizarre. I wonder why they would think that there's no market to release just that film on Blu-ray, Magnificent Ambersons. Maybe if somehow they found the Orson Welles' cut, or maybe some lost footage that maybe Bogdanovich would incorporate into the film. I guess they just feel like there's no market for a Magnificent Ambersons Blu-ray, which is very surprising. So they're folding it into the Citizen Kane Blu-ray. This is amazing stuff. You can actually you can pre-order it on Amazon, although Amazon does not tell you what day it comes out, but it supposedly comes out in the fall as part of its 70th anniversary. So Warner Brothers, who, as you know, they tend to do a very good job on their classic titles, is doing a great job on this. Kudos to them. I cannot wait.
Friggin' brilliant.
So that means fall means Star Wars on Blu-ray and Citizen Kane on Blu-ray.
Wow. It's a big year.
Tipping point.
You know, it's funny because Blu-ray sales plummeted in the last quarter 44%, and yet DVD sales plummeted 44%.
Yeah, I know. Blu-ray's up.
And Blu-ray's up. And I find that to be really interesting. We've sort of hit that point, and I think even though we're technically technically out of the recession, for most people we're still in recessionary times. Money's not flowing freely, so I think it's very interesting that Blu-ray is showing that kind of resilience, even as DVDs fall to streaming. I think it's there's a collector's market that is showing real promise there.
Well, because I think that Blu-ray, as opposed to Laserdisc.
Yeah.
Which really didn't have any other uses other than a Laserdisc player.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got Blu-ray, which hopefully will be in computer laptops someday.
Yeah.
Or desktop computers someday. PlayStation 3s play Blu-rays. I mean, there's a lot of other uses for Blu-rays.
Here's also what I'm really curious to see. You know, I'm believe it or not, I'm pestering Sharp to let us test their new 70-inch television. I'm really curious to see how the Blu-rays. I want to see what the top of the line, state of the art Oppo does when it's connected to a 70-inch Sharp RGB-Y television, because that's the big deal with Sharp, right? I don't know if it's a gimmick or not, but it's not just red, green, blue. It's red, green, blue, and yellow. They added yellow in there.
Yes, because they had Mr. Sulu do a commercial.
Yes, that's right.
Right?
Ooh, my.
He did, right?
Yes, exactly.
Which I thought was weird because they added yellow and they had an Asian actor doing the
Yeah, and not only that, but
seriously,
it's like
is that not odd, or is that
it's a little?
Is that a coincidence?
I don't know. It has to be a coincidence. But the thing that disturbed me a little bit more about it was that here's a guy who's kind of become an icon for the gay community because he was. I mean, really, if you think about it, he was like the first major gay actor on television, even though he wasn't out. And then he came out, and he was, became very much a gay icon, and really went a long way to sort of bridging the gap between understanding and misunderstanding. And then they had him act unbelievably stereotypically gay on that commercial, which kind of disturbed me.
Awesome.
But anyway, so we got.
Bye.
Yes, yeah. I don't want to hear.
I can do that. Last night I went to a bar and it was very loud, and I was losing my voice. So today I can say things like. Oh my!
Well, we got 3 winners for in our Spike Lee contest.
Oh my!
For If the Creek Don't Rise, and we here are the winners. Well, I'm going to read them in row. Jason Maxwell wrote us. Jason Maxwell, you're our first winner.
Oh
Please send us your mailing address so we can send your DVD out to you. He says, I think that Do the Right Thing is my favorite Spike Lee joint. See, he uses the right lingo. It's a Spike Lee joint. They're not movies; they're joints. Spike Lee wasn't a filmmaker I had much exposure to growing up, and until my now wife and I started dating, I hadn't ever watched a single one of his movies. I'm a white guy, and my wife is black, so we had a fair number of wait, you haven't seen blank, insert the name of movie title here, moments. Do the Right Thing was great. The interracial conflict was grounds for interesting discussion about perceived racial differences. I'd probably rank as other films I've seen Malcolm X, Crooklyn, School Days, then Jungle Fever. The attitudes about interracial dating just weren't what I saw as reactions to my own interracial relationship. Wow, that's a tongue twister. Interracial relationship. Granted, our relationship wasn't formed through infidelity, but even here in the South, there weren't any negative reactions or assumptions that the relationship was founded on exploration of sexual taboos. Keep up the great work. So, Jason Maxwell, congratulations. You are a winner. And then Dan Clark says, hello, Digigods. There are a number.
So you're saying that Dan Clark
is a winner. Yeah. So, Dan, go ahead and send us your address as well. There are a number of gods at digigods.com. That's the email, gods at digigods.com. There are a number of Spike Lee joints I'm truly fond of. Inside Job, 25th Hour, Malcolm X, for example. However, the film I would call my favorite would have to be Do the Right Thing. Often the films we enjoy the most are the ones we can share personal connection with. Do the Right Thing fits into that category for me. While in college, the professor of my race relations in the modern era class would often refer to this film. He would describe how well the film represented some of the core issues that divide us as people, how a simple conversation about the pictures of people on a wall can bring to light the ignorance of people on both sides. Not ignorance in the sense of hatred, but ignorance in the sense of lack of understanding. And it goes on. It's a beautiful little essay he wrote here, and it's really just first rate. So, Dan, thank you for that. And then our last winner is longtime listener Stuart Moncure, who said,
Stuart Moncure, oh, God, that guy. He writes our intros.
Yeah.
He
Skypes into
Stupid for Movies.
Yeah.
He enters our contests. Jesus
well, there you go.
Christ.
He said, I always thought that When the Levees Broke might be my favorite Spike Lee film, even if it's more a documentary than an actual movie like Malcolm X or Do the Right Thing. I have relatives in Louisiana, and when Katrina hit, I was extremely concerned for their well-being. When seeing the slow response over the weeks after Katrina, I was upset because of what seemed to be colossal local and federal government blunders that destroyed people's lives. When the Levee Breaks was a powerful reminder of that chaotic time, but also reassuring in that so many people who lost family and home are still trying to rebuild from that horrible tragedy. Stuart, congratulations. Thank you for that. Send us your mailing address as well to gods@digigods.com, and we'll send your DVDs right off to you. Mark, shall we...
play a game? Shall we play a game?
You're still in a War Games mood.
Love war games.
I know you do. But that computer technology looks so ancient now when you watch the movie. It's like, wow, really? I got more technology in my watch.
Oh, come on. There's more technology in your watch than was in the
Apollo,
spaceship that went to the blah blah.
Yeah. There's more technology in most children's toys. There's like the chipset,
like the CNC 2011 has more technology
like
than the Apollo
chipset. The chipset in like a talking Elmo doll has more data. It has more bytes and kilobytes and bits than all of Apollo 11.
It is true. It's true.
My camera is more sophisticated. It's amazing. All right, television or nude movies? Did I say nude movies?
I was on Netflix looking for something to watch, and they had on offer The Nude Bomb,
which I actually kind of like.
No, you don't.
I do actually. Yeah, I do. I kind of have a soft spot for that. I do.
Okay, you have a choice. You can see you want to give me this one, but you really want to give me this one.
Yeah, let me think about it.
Oh,
I'll think about it. Well, Mark's, of course, talking about a couple from Fox and MGM.
There's some good Blu-rays this week.
There's some really good Blu-rays. Fox and MGM have essentially pillaged Warner Brothers' Blu-ray book idea. They've just stolen it, just flat out. I mean, it's shameless. They just said, we kind of like what you do with those Blu-ray books, so we're going to do that too. And we're not even going to hide it. So we have a couple of new limited editions in the Warner Blu-ray book tradition from Fox and MGM. And that would be the aptly matched The Hustler, the Paul Newman, Jackie Gleason classic, black and white, by director Robert Rossen, and the film that everyone would think to pair it with, which is Arnold Schwarzenegger and James Cameron's The Terminator. Right? I mean, same audience.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
You realize who there were two actors who were up for the role.
Yeah.
In The Hustler.
Yeah.
Eventually played by Paul Newman.
Yeah.
Didn't work out. First one, Jack Lemmon declined the role.
Really?
Did you know that?
I did not
Jack
know that.
Lemmon
He declined it?
Yes.
Wow.
That's fine. And then the second place was Cliff Robertson.
No kidding.
I kid you
How
not.
about that? Well, anyway. These are pretty great. And then there's also a couple more in this series, which are less funny. The Usual Suspects, which is the last film that I actually saw 6 times in the theater. I have not gone to see a single movie that many times in the theater
I remember. When did this movie come out? 1994, something like that? No. When did this movie come out? I don't remember. Let me see.
What is it?
Hang on.
You put me on the spot there. What is it,
Suspects.
97? 97, wasn't it?
95.
95.
I remember talking to you in 1995, and you were like, I remember you said this. You said, I have seen this movie 4 times because I have to see if there's any holes in his logic.
Yeah.
There weren't any.
No. The script is great. It's terrific. It's wonderful on so many levels. And it won an Oscar. And he has had no career as a writer since.
You know what? He just foundered all over the place. He does Superman, then the Valkyrie, and then now.
Well, no, you're talking about Bryan Singer as a director.
Oh, you mean?
I'm talking about
Kevin Spacey?
No, the writer.
McQuarrie.
Yeah, Christopher McQuarrie. Yeah, he's just it's like all over the map. It's very strange. And Pete Postlethwaite, of course, is now dead. So anyway, we're all over the map on these. The fourth one here is the Comancheros, the John Wayne film, which is kind of the lesser of all these. I mean, if you've seen one John Wayne Western, you've sort of seen them all. And The Searchers is the one you should really pay attention to. That being said, Michael Curtiz, the director of Casablanca, does a very, very decent job. This is a beautiful looking Blu-ray. It's perfectly fine. 1961, widescreen, fine, beautiful. I mean, but is it a brilliant film? Not really. Great commentary by Patrick Wayne, who's John Wayne's son. Was an actor for 10 seconds, along with Nehemiah Persoff, who played Barbra Streisand's dad in Yentl, and Stuart Whitman, who was an institution. And you know who else is in this movie and also participates in the commentary? You're going to love this. We're going to do trivia like mad. Just to hell with the movie. We're just going to talk about Michael and Sarah. We're going to talk about Michael and Sarah.
Oh, God.
Because he played a Klingon in Day of the Dove. In Day of the Dove. That's right. And the other thing about Michael and Sarah, you know who he was married to, right?
Mr. and Mrs. and Sarah.
You don't know this?
No.
You really don't know this?
No.
Barbara Eden.
Really?
Yeah, their son. They had one son, and he committed suicide like 5 or 6 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
it was
terrible.
really tragic, really horribly tragic. And I remember thinking, wow, Barbara Eden and Michael and Sarah, that's a pretty hot couple. But when the son committed suicide, it just kind of, wow, it was really devastating. But anyway, this is perfectly fine. Lee Marvin's in this thing as well. Usual Suspects on Blu-ray in a nice whiz-bang limited edition. Terrific. Extras, none. So I don't know what it's a nice little booklet-y thing, but otherwise, The Hustler and The Terminator.
Gimme.
Not a lot on The Terminator either. Deleted scenes and a little flashback retrospective and all that. But
that is rather bizarre.
It's very strange. So, I mean, don't be deceived by the whole booklet approach. They aren't jammed with extras, but they are very, very good in terms of
The Hustler's got
the
some
transfer.
Stuff in it.
Yeah, The Hustler has some nice stuff. The Hustler is the only one that's really kind of packed up. The thing I forgot about The Terminator, Hemdale was involved in The Terminator.
Hemdale, the production company owned by the Beatle himself.
Hemdale?
I don't know.
No, you're thinking of...
I'm thinking of the other one.
You're thinking of...
The one that George Harrison owned.
Yeah, no, that's working.
That's not him.
Not
That's
working title. But,
that's
the other one.
What?
No, Hemdale did Platoon and a few other things back in the 80s. And a guy who used to be an executive with Hemdale still owes me $250. You know that.
What?
Owed me for like 20 years. He owes me $250.
You're out of your mind.
It's true. I worked on a movie.
Handmade films.
Handmade, thank you.
That was George Harrison.
Not Hemdale, Handmade. Boy, get your H's right. The Hustler has great commentary with Paul Newman and film historian Jeff Young, and among others, our friend Grumble, Grumble, Grumble. For Christ's sakes, people. Grumble, grumble, grumble.
What are you talking about?
Grumble, grumble, grumble. Who grumbles? Curmudgeon. Yes. No. Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Who? What are you talking?
When you get emails sent to the group, what emails just grumble at you?
Oh, Richard Schickel.
Thank you. Jeez, shouldn't have been that hard. Lots of featurettes, lots of old newsreely kind of things. It's real fun. So I mean, this is look, The Hustler is just a terrific movie and way better than The Color of Money, which just never should have been made.
Yeah, but it should have been made because it won Paul Newman his long-awaited Oscar.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm not saying he deserved it for that movie, but it did win him an Oscar.
Martin Brest's commentary is pretty much the only thing that distinguishes Beverly Hills Cop on Blu-ray, which is really just a spit-em-out Paramount title. They did not put a lot of effort into this. Very disappointing Blu-ray transfer. I am hoping that they do this right the next time around. Still a really fun movie, but man, they just did not do it right. It looks rushed.
It's a fun movie.
Fun movie, but it looks rushed. Really fun to watch again. I'm thrilled, but it looks rushed. This was an interesting film. This is a Target exclusive, by the way. You can only get this at Target. This is Bruce Beresford, the Mao's Last Dancer. And I actually like this. I don't know if you saw this, Mark, but
I did not.
It's a very decent Blu-ray transfer from Fox, who I would not have expected to give a really attentive, really kind of go to bat on this. But Fox does a very nice job in the transfer. This is the true story about a Chinese dancer. It's honest, really fascinating story, who became this amazing, legendary ballet dancer. Primarily, there's a whole romance in the U.S. angle to it, and it gets into a lot of those kinds of. It's a little bit almost like a Chinese Baryshnikov tale, the way that when you come from communist China, you're not supposed to fraternize with the ugly capitalist Americans.
They did in White Knights with Mikhail Baryshnikov and
Gregory Hines. Sure did. But anyway, no, this is actually it's not a brilliant film, but it's a very solid film, and Bruce Beresford still has his chops. Bruce Beresford really is distinguished as the only guy ever to direct an Academy Award-winning Best Picture without actually being nominated himself.
Oh, Driving Miss Daisy.
But he wasn't even nominated.
No.
That's why everyone wrote that film off. It was supposed to be Born on the 4th of July. They're like, Driving Miss Daisy is great, but he's not nominated, so doesn't have a chance. They just kind of broke down the numbers, and it just, in this weird numerical schnuckelfritz, it wound up winning Best Picture, and its director wasn't even nominated. It's weird.
But also, don't forget, the Academy, at that time, even much less than today, was basically an old folks' home.
Yes.
And Driving Miss Daisy is a movie about old folks.
True, late
Academy,
80s. Late 80s. Folks. But that demographic changed within a few years when Silence of the Lambs won.
Yep.
I mean, literally, it was within a couple of years, bam, the whole thing shifted.
Love it.
Manchurian Candidate is terrific. We love this movie. MGM's DVD is just all the same extras that are on the special edition DVD. They just ported everything over to the Blu-ray. Nice audio commentary with Frankenheimer. Thank goodness they got it down, but there's nothing else spectacular about this. The transfer's fine, not brilliant. Let's go through the Misfits 50th anniversary, also from MGM.
Clark Gable's last film. I think wasn't it also Monroe's last film?
Monroe's last film was never finished.
Well, that was the what's it called? Everybody loves something.
Yeah, that one.
That thing. Something's got to do something.
Yeah, something's got to give.
Yeah.
Was it something's got to? Everyone's got to eat something.
It had like a stupid name like that.
Everything's got to be on top of the Misfits.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can see. Look, Monty Clift looks not great in this. Monroe is clearly aging, and Clark Gable is already way aged, yellow teeth, and the whole deal. But nonetheless, a significant film. Not a great film, but
something's got to give.
Something's got to give. And one of John Huston's last kind of big high-profile films, based on it's written by Arthur Miller. Great
and yes,
playwright.
The Misfits was Clark Gable's final film.
Was his final film. We also got Horse Soldiers, another John Wayne movie. Look, seriously, this one not that great, and it's a John Ford one.
That is strange that the Misfits would be Clark Gable's last film and Marilyn Monroe's last film, and the two of them represent two totally different eras in Hollywood.
Yeah, they do. I mean, look, Horse Soldiers is really loved by a lot of people. I kind of find it a little bit tedious. Maybe if I watched it again tomorrow, I'd feel differently. But this was John Ford and John Wayne again. Not one of their very best, but it's adequate. Here, Mark, dive into some television there while I'm just finishing up a couple of these. I want to split these up into two batches because there's a few titles in here that probably aren't really worth talking about this week, and we're gonna run short on time.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are. A couple of foreign titles here from Criterion. Pale Flower, which is a pretty great Japanese film. It's kind of one of the more seminal films from the Japanese New Wave. And you definitely should check it out. If you're familiar with director Masahiro Shinoda, this is maybe Shinoda's best film. It is a very difficult film to watch as it kind of takes a different angle on the Yakuza genre. And it's not just fun. It's not like Yakuza being cool gangsters and isn't this fun kind of this gratuitous violence. It's none of that at all. It is. It gets almost surreal, and it as an allegory for the mistakes that we make in life. It can be a very, very disturbing film, but definitely worth watching. A lot of great extras on here, including an interview with Shinoda himself and a commentary on select scenes with Peter Greeley, who is a co-producer of a movie on the music of the composer Toru Takemitsu. And then also, this is just one of the great things. You're going to be thrilled with the Blu-ray release of Clouseau's Diabolique, the original Diabolique. Forget about the remake. Not terrible, but not a great film. This is Diabolique on Blu-ray. Looks gorgeous, creepy. I saw this in my high school French class, and it has given me nightmares ever since. It is even better on Blu-ray. And a great commentary here on selected scenes by French film scholar Kelly Conway, which is kind of the central thing. Then the last one I'm going to talk about here as I kind of sort through some of these others, because we've got a lot of junk this week too, is a Jackie Gleason and Steve McQueen pairing from the Warner Archive collection, which you can find out about at warnerarchive.com. This is Soldier in the Rain. This was made at the time by a company called Allied Artists, which was an attempt to kind of do what United Artists had previously failed to do. And this film has completely fallen between the cracks. It was co-written by Blake Edwards, and not as funny as it ought to be, really, partly because Steve McQueen ain't really funny, but he's good, and Jackie Gleason is great. So, kind of, I guess, as an odd pairing. You might want to check it out. It's not a great film, but it's an okay film. And Tuesday Weld is adorable in it, as she always is. Mark, what do we got in the world of TV?
Oh, we have The Twilight Zone, Season 4. The Twilight Zone is one of the all-time classics, and it totally holds up. I'm sorry. I know it's in black and white, and black and white's lame, but I'm just saying it totally holds up. And as we have often said, whenever there's a Twilight Zone DVD set, that if you want a master class in making a short film, not the UCLA short film that your buddy did about the guy who does blah, blah. Twilight Zones are 23 minutes long or whatever, and they're great. Great writing by Rod Serling, who was a heavyweight writer at the time, and it's great stuff. So Blu-ray features include all sorts of crazy stuff. Audio interview with the DP, 13 new audio commentaries, because there are a bunch of cast members and crew members who are still around. Now, Mark Scott Zicree wrote one of the classic Twilight Zone book called The Twilight Zone Companion, which actually I bought my father for his birthday years ago because he loved that thing. Now, some of this stuff is exclusive to the Blu-ray. Other stuff is not. The stuff that's not exclusive to the Blu-ray includes a bunch of Rod Serling bloopers, which is really cool. Sponsor billboards, which I love those old school sponsor billboards. Video interviews with Morgan Brittany and a bunch of other people from the show. Radio dramas, new radio dramas based on Twilight Zone scripts. And it's good stuff. Twilight Zone Season 4. I love Twilight Zone. Love Twilight Zone.
The best.
Covert Affairs Season 1. This is one of those USA. USA... I don't know what to say about their original shows. They feel like sub HBO.
They kind of do.
They feel basic cable-y.
Oh, more than that.
I mean, Piper Perabo is very attractive, and she's a CIA operative, and she does her crazy stuff. And, it's got a decent cast. Eric LaSalle, who's in ER. Lauren Holly, who used to be a film actress, and now she does TV.
Yeah.
And Peter Gallagher, who, of course, has been around forever. And, the bonus features include deleted scenes, a gag reel, a couple commentaries. And, every episode, this sexy girl in black tights or whatever is on the run from the bad guys. So, it's not as exciting as some of the Fox stuff like Human Target or 24. But at least this is female skewing, so they try to get kind of a female demo into that sort of spy thriller genre. And for that, it's okay. But it's not my favorite. Also not my favorite is Royal Pains, which is a quirky kind of a comedy, lighthearted thing about this doctor who practices in the Hamptons. His patients are all these rich people.
I've grown to like this show.
Really?
Yeah, sort of have.
I mean, it's very kind of whimsical. It's not to be taken all that seriously, but I just think that you've really scraped the bottom of the barrel in terms of things you can make TV shows about when you start making them about the doctor who practices in the Hamptons.
True. I can see that.
Now, Wade, what can you see about The Bionic Woman Season 2?
It's the best. It's the best. Absolutely the best.
Someone has the crossover episode.
I love it.
The crossover episode.
I know. It's the best. I love it. The Bionic Woman. Come on.
It's Oscar Goldman.
Jamie Summers, and she teaches school until she has to go do a job for the OSI. How great is that? You live in an apartment above the garage of your bionic astronaut ex-boyfriend, ex-fiancé in Ojai, just living a quiet little simple life, teaching kids until a top-secret government spy agency comes around and says, would you use your high-tech super skills to go run a mission for us? It's great. It's like it's every woman's dream.
In fact, it's a documentary.
It is.
When you think about it.
Yes.
Bonus features include audio commentary with Lindsay Wagner, who's still around.
Yeah.
And also Kenneth Johnson, the creator, who's also still around, who also created V. Right now, V, the new version of V, just got canceled.
Thank goodness. Seriously, what the hell were they thinking?
You love it.
I don't.
Anyway. All right, that's Bionic Woman.
Okay.
Flashpoint, third season. This show kind of limps along. This is not my favorite show in the world. This is
very strange.
It's about a...
Well, it has a following. It definitely has a following, a very strange following, but a following nonetheless.
You know what? It's about this strategic response unit that takes down the bad guys. They dress up in the crazy SWAT uniforms, all black and badass looking.
Sure.
It's just like another one of those shows. So I don't know what this gives you that 1,000 other shows like it don't. But the third season special features include a behind the scenes video, a set tour, and a couple of deleted scenes. 16 episodes. Its Flashpoint is no one's going to buy that thing. I mean, let's face it. Come on, seriously. The Tim and Eric Awesome Show, Great Job, is a cult show that
we don't understand. We just don't get. We did none of it.
I've seen some of their. It's season 5, by the way, on the box.
Oh, well, that's lovely.
Season 5.
Good.
Season 5 of Tim and Eric Awesome Show, Great Job, and this has a cult following. It's a show that I find kind of funny. I was watching. I was watching. Which is the show that we always make fun of? Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
Can I say something about Robot Chicken?
What?
It's funny.
Okay.
I've turned the corner on Robot Chicken.
All right.
It's funny.
Took time. It took time.
It took 8 seasons.
Yeah, it took 8 seasons, but you're finally figuring it out. Yeah.
It is funny, I have to say.
It can be.
Which has nothing to do with Tim and Eric Awesome Show, Great
The
Job.
problem is that it's funny to me in a way that was funny when I was in elementary school, and I feel like when I watch the show...
You haven't left elementary school. You're still reliving Star Trek, the motion picture, in your head.
That's kind of true, actually.
Now, the except for Twilight Zone, the Blu-ray of the week or the DVD of the week in terms of TV is All in the Family.
Yeah.
This is the final season. This is the 9th season of All in the Family. This, of course, is one of the all-time best shows in television history.
Yeah, finally getting these seasons out. Thank goodness.
Now, by this time, I have to say,
the
film had kind of run out of steam a little bit.
Yeah, it was.
They introduced Floyd, who's like Edith's cousin.
Yeah.
They introduced Floyd's daughter, Stephanie, played by Danielle Brisbois.
Right, exactly, because you're going to segue into Archie Bunker's Place.
That's right.
And all that stuff.
So Carol O'Connor and Danielle Brisbois did the spin-off show Archie Bunker's Place. So here the show is definitely kind of running on fumes a little bit, but it's still All in the Family, and I don't care. This final season had its 200th episode. and there's 23 episodes here.
Rock on.
And also, it's nice from Shout Factory, because we always love Shout Factory, is the 90-minute retrospective, which is kind of cool.
It's very good.
Ultimately, it's All in the Family, and we love All in the Family.
All right, I have broken the remaining movies down into 2 stacks here because there's stuff here that's good for cinephiles, and then there's a bunch of junk for other people. Here's the stuff that if you're a movie lover, that you got to know that it's out. This is the important stuff. Dead Man Walking on Blu-ray, also from MGM. It's a great movie. Not a great transfer. Nothing on here other than the commentary by Tim Robbins, which was out on the DVD. But as a Blu-ray, even though it's not brilliant, I would still recommend it because this is a really good film, and I'm so sick that Tim Robbins isn't really directing anything anymore. I mean, that last that Orson Welles period thing just sank him, and it's very peculiar. So he should be making movies again. This is an Oscar-nominated film, and it won an Oscar for Sean Penn, and it is an absolutely terrific movie. It is first-rate, and Sean Penn has another possible award contender film at Cannes right now, by the way, where he plays a glam rocker. So,
there is no way he would win for that, because you know what? The older members of the Academy will never vote for a guy playing a glam rocker.
All right.
It's too strange.
True. But he may win an award at Cannes. And then we got a couple of Otto Preminger films here that are released by Olive Films through their output deal with Paramount. You know, that's one of the Olive has been really exploiting a lot of these library titles that Paramount, for example, just really has no interest in releasing. And Olive says, you know what, there's an audience for those films, we're going to get behind them. And Otto Preminger, the amazing director, who is really best known to an entire generation, not as a director, but for playing Mr. Freeze on Batman. Wild!
He was also in Stalag 17.
Wild!
He was
That's
in Stalag
right.
17?
Yes, he was. He was in
Yeah.
Stalag 17. A good actor.
I like him. He's a good director.
But as Mr. Freeze, it was great. Batman, wild! It's great. Anyway, these 2 Otto Preminger films, not among his best, but certainly, definitely, absolutely worth looking at. One of them is Such Good Friends, which stars Diane Cannon, James Coco, Ken Howard, and Jennifer O'Neill. Diane Cannon, faithful Laker fan. Can't say anything bad about her, ever, really. So don't ask me to. This is from 1971, right at the tail end of Preminger's career. And it's a very odd film based on a Lewis Gould novel, and it's kind of it's supposed to be funny in a weird, dark way. I don't know how funny it really is, but what I find interesting about this is that it was written, by the way, the screenplay adaptation, written by Esther Dale. Do you know who that is?
Oh, my God. That's no, I know her sister who got married.
Elaine May.
Her name is Estra Jin.
Elaine May.
Okay.
Estra Jin. It's Elaine May. Now, slightly better, and I would say even substantially better, is Hurry Sundown, which was based on another novel by K.B. Gilden, and co-adapted by Horton Foote. Now, Horton Foote, great writer, much better screenplay, and an unbelievable cast in this thing. This was made a few years early in 1967. This is a definite must-get. Really a terrific film.
It has John Philip Law in it.
Well, it's one of those late 60s... you know what? It's one of those late 60s films that sort of tackles all the race issues in the country, and it goes along with, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and in the heat
Otto Preminger was
the heat of the night, and all those things.
But Preminger, he tackled that stuff head on.
He did, absolutely.
Anatomy of a Murder, he tackled rape kind of, like a rape
you
trial
betcha.
head on.
And he does it here, and I'm surprised that this wasn't actually released prior to this. Listen to this cast. Listen to this unbelievable cast. Michael Caine, Jane Fonda, Faye Dunaway, Burgess Meredith, John Philip Law, Diane Carroll.
Now, Jane Fonda and John Philip Law would do another film together.
Yes, they would.
Barbarella.
Yes, they would. You betcha. You better believe it. But Burgess Meredith, I love the thing that you always said about Burgess Meredith. You said he's been 80 years old for the last 40 years at one point.
You know what's funny is that actually I saw... When I recently, speaking of Otto Preminger, I recently rewatched Advise and Consent.
Yeah.
And you realize who had their movie debut.
No.
I'm saying this because A, it's Otto Preminger.
Yes.
And B, it's somebody else who has been 80 years old for 50 years.
Yes. Who's that?
Betty White.
Oh, wow. That's
Betty
right.
White has like one scene in Chambers where she reads like 2 lines, like she's the only female member of the Congress or whatever.
Wow.
It is. And Betty White actually looks young.
Wow, that's very well. Look at that.
It was possible.
My goodness.
Unbelievable. Yes.
All right. So, carrying on with the remainder of this stack, now we're going to get into some movies that are junkier. All right, Mark.
The Other Woman. Now, while Natalie Portman was shooting her Oscar-winning Black Swan, and her Oscar-winning Black Swan was being edited, distributed, viewed by millions, beloved by many.
Yeah.
There was another film that she had done that was sitting on a shelf gathering dust. This film was The Other Woman.
Oh, boy.
And The Other Woman was sat on the shelf for about 2 years, and thanks to the success of Black Swan, it wound up getting a VOD release, and then after the VOD release, it wound up getting a brief theatrical. And there's a reason why the film I just said that, didn't I? There is a reason the film sat on a shelf for 2 years, because it is incredibly melodramatic and mawkish, and is just
they had to wait for her to win an Oscar in order to get any kind of marketing muscle out of it.
Yes. It's the movie is directed by Don Roos, who is not untalented, and it is about a woman played by Natalie Portman who becomes the other woman. She breaks up a marriage, and then the husband eventually winds up marrying Natalie Portman, and there's a lot of guilt involved because there's a son involved, and Portman feels like the outsider because she broke up this marriage, and the pressure that comes with that, and the life that they're trying to build together. And the character goes through so much; it's essentially angst porn,
right?
And it's just too much. It's too melodramatic. It's just too much. It's just heaping indignity upon this woman until you realize that it's almost unfair. You just feel the thumb of the screenwriter and the director putting this woman through the ringer because I don't know why. I just don't know why. I don't know what pleasure is derived from watching this film.
Yeah. Okay.
The DVD obviously is crapped out as well because all there is on it is a trailer. And Don Roos has done better films. He did Bounce. He did The Opposite of Sex. But once you start getting into babies' deaths and all this crazy and philandering fathers and all that stuff, it's just too much.
Well, I like Don Roos a lot, though. I really do, and I love it when he works with Lisa Kudrow.
You like Lisa Kudrow, don't you?
I do. I think she's a terrific actress when she's not doing Phoebe.
You know why? Now we'll talk about the Blu-ray of The Right, and you know why I love Anthony Hopkins.
This is kind of like Priest, the older years, right? That new movie Priest that just tanked this last weekend.
Well, it's inspired by true events, Wade.
Yes, of course it is.
Exactly.
Carry on.
It's about a seminary student who goes to the Vatican to study exorcisms, and he winds up apprenticing with this crazy Father Lucas, played by Anthony Hopkins.
Of course. Does Anthony Hopkins play anything but crazy anymore?
You know why I love him? Because even when he's mailing it in, and he's mailing it in, and he's almost subconsciously telling you he's mailing it in, he's still great. Yeah. I just love watching him. You know what it's like? And paradoxically, the less he cares, the more I enjoy his performance. Because it just shows how effortless he can be. It's like watching Brando, like late Brando, like Don Juan DeMarco Brando. You realize that Brando just couldn't give two S's about anything about acting, but he's so good that even when he doesn't give two S's, it's just it's just effortless. Yeah, anyways, that's The Right. So it's on Blu-ray, it's a good-looking Blu-ray, I have to say. There's a DVD and a digital copy, and there's an alternate ending on it, which is whatever, nothing to write home about.
Antonio Banderas trying to be an action star at a point in his career when it's really just
He's
it's
50,
over.
Wade. He's 50.
I know, it's over. Tony Krantz directed this thing where he plays a private eye who's hired by some Russian boxer to track down his girlfriend and all the jewels she took off with. It's just one of those let's go to every nasty, disgusting cesspool part of Los Angeles and attempt to do some kind of a postmodern noir thing. It doesn't really work. Banderas, he writes it in. He phones it in. A lot of great people in this cast, though. That's how they got this thing financed. I mean, William Fichtner, Thomas Kretschmann. I'm sure he brought some German money along. Sam Elliott, Delroy Lindo, Snoop Dogg, who's in every single movie that actually shoots in his hood. After, why not, But whatever. It ain't great. And there's an audio commentary on here, but it's not anything to scream about. But I am going to scream about Justin Bieber Never Say Never. And here's why I'm going to scream about it. Because I really do loathe Justin Bieber. I don't have anything against him personally. He seems like a perfectly nice Canadian twit. But really, just go away, please. I have cousins of the young teenage age. Yeah. And they love Justin Bieber. Of course they do. But I don't. The hair's got to go. And one of these days, Justin Bieber, he'll reach that point where he's a has-been, and then he just becomes a fat crack addict who's going to get raided somewhere in a little shanty town somewhere in Skid Row. It'll happen. I can't wait. It'll happen. Meth will happen to you too, you little jerk. Whatever. I understand. People love him. It's all in jest. But really, this is just too much loving, too much adulation, too much narcissistic. How amazing am I now that I've only been on this earth just a few... Look, this kid was like friggin'... He was a toddler when I went to my first Cannes Film Festival. I don't want to hear about it. He ain't nothing. Okay, Vanishing on 7th Street is a really unfortunate combination of talent that really should be all in better movies. Tandy Newton and John Leguizamo really have to stop just doing
I love
these.
Tandy Newton. She's beautiful.
They're both really good.
Mission
but
Impossible 2? Oh my God, she was gorgeous.
They've got to just stop showing up in straight-to-video movies. They have to. They're just going to completely devalue themselves. Hayden Christensen, on the other hand, his day is done. That guy, it's over for him. He was supposed to be the next big thing, and then it turns out he can't really act. So thank you, George Lucas. Thank you for inflicting him on us. You know what? This is I don't know. It's too cheaply made to be a real kind of post-apocalyptic end of the world movie, and yet it's almost too much production value for a straight-to-video film. So I don't know what they're really shooting for here. But it got acquired by Magnolia, and they've released it straight to DVD under their Magnet label. The Roommate was a thriller that hit theaters for about 10 seconds earlier in the year. Right at the beginning of the year, it's a standard January movie. It's like, yet another resurrection of Fatal Attraction mixed with single white female for a generation that doesn't remember either of those movies, and it does absolutely nothing new. And then wrapping out all these bad new movies is a Blu-ray and a DVD of Daydream Nation, which is, you know what, I'm partial to this, Mark, and I'm partial actually to the Blu-ray because it really is an interesting little film. And you know why it's an interesting film? Because the cast is a lot better than the movie is. Kat Denning, who is in Thor, is just a great actress. And
but she just signed to do a TV show, which was a little disappointing.
It's disappointing because it's the only way these people can get consistent work. She's and Josh Lucas is always interesting. He's got that little dark edge to him. Good looking, but he's got a little kind of dark edge. And I got to tell you, I really, really think Kat Dennings is she's the thing. She's the real deal. She's got something great in her, and I hope that.
Don't do TV.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope.
Two Broke Girls from writer-producer Michael Patrick King, who did Sex and the City. She'll be starring in that show for CBS. Lame.
Two Broke Girls.
Lame.
Well, anyway, this is like a kind of a, I don't know. It's like a teacher and teenage student seduction scenario. There's nothing unique about it, but she's really good and he's good, and just for the acting alone, I would recommend people take a quick look at it. And then lastly, the Butcher Brothers have done The Violent Kind, which I just, I don't see the point of.
Called the Butcher Brothers. That means they're butchers.
Look, it's
so cool.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's you call yourselves the Butcher Brothers, and you make these kinds of B movies. It's ultra violent that would have been complete and straight up exploitation films in the '60s and early '70s. Okay, fine, big deal. I don't know what the audience is for this. Like there isn't enough of that stuff to begin with.
Wait, I bought an iPad 2 yesterday.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Seriously?
I did.
Have you played with it yet?
I haven't received it. I got it from Apple.com.
No kidding.
It's going to take 1 to 2 weeks to get to me.
Oh, man.
But sometimes I go into an Apple store and I say, do you have one? In which case I'll buy it at the Apple store, then cancel my online order.
There you go.
Because I want one. You know why?
Why?
No idea why.
Well.
I just want a toy.
You want a toy.
That is my toy.
Well, you want a toy, and I think the rest of our listeners would like a little time off from us for the rest of the week. So we're going to give it to them. See you next week.